Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Road to Roota.com. Lots going on in the silver world, in the crypto world, in the world in general. For private road members, I just posted an amazing discussion with Jenny Moonstone. We did 10 blind readings. And I just put a topic in an envelope, sealed the envelope, and she did her magic with the cards and all that. And yeah, if you're interested in gold-silver ratios, if you're interested in Tfuel, one of the most amazing things was, in one of them I said exploding mobile devices, because you got all those pagers going off and walkie-talkies going off. And this is, mind you, a sealed envelope. And she literally zoned right in on military technology. This has been a long time in the works, and blah, 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 blah. Crazy stuff. Go check it out on the private road at roadtoruta.com. All right, what's silver going to do? It is breaking free of 170 years of price suppression. 170 years of price suppression. Since HSBC was set up in China as Hong Kong Shanghai Bank, to literally steal all the silver from China by getting them addicted to opium. That's how evil these banking class are, the financial riggers of our world. They are beyond evil. And it does look like HSBC might be the target of the takedown of the first too big to fail bank, because they have been delivering silver all year long. They've been the number one every single month, number one silver deliverer. And into last year. So that means, at least on the COMEX, they are the short. There's no question about it. They at one time ran the hedge book for the U.S. Mint, so I think the U.S. Mint is involved with HSBC, which is really sad. Janet Yellen did this, and probably at the advice of Jerome Powell and others. If you don't know who Jerome Powell was before he became Fed chair, in the 1990s, he's the guy who saved Bear Stearns from collapse. No, Bankers Trust. It was Bankers Trust from collapse by selling a toxic derivative portfolio to Bear Stearns, and voila, you had a solving of a derivative problem. That's why Jerome Powell was put as the head of the Fed. Solve the $3 quadrillion derivative problem, and you're the master. He can't do it, by the way, in case you're wondering. Anyway, yes, there are good guys going to take out the bad guys at any moment, and you can do it with silver. Drive the price of silver up to $50, $100, $1,000, to where it should be. We don't know what price silver should be. I do like looking at this, the gold-silver ratio. Now, if you look at the gold-silver ratio historically, you can see it's almost always below 80, except for this is JP Morgan driving it up to 128. But besides that, it's been hovering above 80 for a little over a year now. That is going to fall very fast. It's coming out of the ground, and Jenny discusses this also, at 7-1, my friends, 7-1. We all know silver's being used up hand over fist in solar panels, in electric cars all over the world, mainly outside of the U.S., mainly in China and India. As a matter of fact, I talked about in the private road a couple days ago what was going on with India. Absolutely 100%. I keep track of this data. India had a massive month, 46 million ounces in August. 46 million ounces, one of the largest delivery months ever. And a really interesting fact. So this is the August 24, and you can see the vast majority, 93% of it, was grain back in August 2024. It's all grain going in. Oh, sorry, I mean bars. It's all bars. Before, it was all grain. Look at that. Look at the June 2024. What the hell is going on? So in June, it was all grain. And you import grain because you're going to put it into the paste for silver to make solar panels. That's what they're doing with it. Or the paste to solder electric parts on electric cars. Shit like that. You don't take in bars. That's more of on the monetary side. You take in the grain because it's cheaper and you're just going to melt it down anyway. But look where it came from, the UAE. This was a agreement between the UAE and India, and they knocked down the tariffs a little bit to allow India to buy from the UAE cheaper. So, yeah, all the silver was coming from the UAE. 1 month later, they changed that. They took off the big tariffs. They have like a 15% tariff. They dropped it down to 6%. And then all of a sudden, it's just bars coming in. What a difference a month makes. From 97% grain to 93 to only 6% grain. And then from 1% bars to 93% bars. This is not a bunch of traders all over the country importing silver. This is a coordinated sucking, a vacuuming up of all the silver on the planet by absolutely people in the know. In China, they don't tell us how much China's taking in, but India does say, report their imports. This is not a bunch of traders. This is a focused attempt to suck up the very last of the physical silver on the planet. And look where it came from. Remember, just last month, it all came from the UAE. Almost 100% came from the UAE. This month, the UK, Hong Kong, and China. Where is the UAE? All of a sudden, nothing is coming from. This is a month apart. It's all because they changed the tariff structure so that you don't have to pay 15%, you don't have to pay 6%, and all of a sudden, bam, let's get silver from everywhere. And look at the jump in the amount of silver imported last month, 46, 47 million ounces, right in that range. We're at, right now, according to my calculations, 198 million ounces going into India. And, of course, the Silver Institute doesn't factor this in at all. Metals Focus doesn't factor this in at all. They say, oh, yeah, that's silverware. Bullshit. Bullshit. Anyway, great times if you're a silver lover or silver holder. Yes, they can put the price of silver at minus $40 with the click of a mouse. The price of silver is determined on the COMEX, which is a futures and options trading floor completely controlled by the United States of America, the Federal Reserve, and the regulators, the CFTC, a guy named Rustam Binham, who said, we had to tamp down the price of silver when it almost hit $30. I wonder what his next tamp down price is. Probably 50. So, and if you are keeping track of how it historically has traded on the derivative side of silver, they play with the moving averages. The big commercials, the big banks, JP Morgan, HSBC, Citibank, Bank of America, all of them are playing this game where you drop it below the moving averages so that the tech traders get in or short, and that seems to be failing at the moment. Even if it isn't fully failing yet, we do see that the 200-day moving average, this blue line, keeps moving up. As long as it's above, the price is above the moving average, it's going to keep going up and up and up. This is a massive trigger point for India to buy physical silver. They only buy when it's slammed. Like last month, it got down below the 100-day moving average. They were buying right here in August. Buy. If they hit under the 200-day moving average, I would not be surprised to see India buy in a single month 150 million ounces in a single month. That's how big this is. This is a orchestrated takedown of the banking cabal. China's doing it. India's doing it. Russia's doing it. Everybody's doing it. Because the U.S., the West, has lied and cheated and stole the entire time. In the United States, we use everybody's assets first, keep ours in the ground. We have so many tons of silver in the ground, massive amounts of gold. I've shown people all over the place. Everybody should understand there's not 200,000 tons of gold that's ever been mined. It's more like 2 million tons, and there's massive amounts, and that will come out. Would it drive the price of gold down? No. Gold is rigged just like silver. But it would do is change the gold-silver ratio. The gold-silver ratio should be, at a minimum, 7-1. That's what it's coming out of the ground at. If you think you should determine that based on what's above ground, that's a 1-1 ratio. There's about 6 billion in each available, potentially available. In no world other than the COMEX should the ratio be over 80-1. You take the COMEX out, and you revert back to what it should be, either above ground supplies or above ground, below ground, or coming out of the ground, or coin form, or whatever you want to do. Right now, over 100% of all silver being mined is being consumed in industrial applications. I know the Silver Institute numbers don't say that, but they're wrong, and I've proven them wrong time and time again. The Silver Institute says this year they'll do 213 million ounces of silver in solar panels. It's going to be between 400 and 450, according to the people who make the silver paste. Solumet, the number one silver paste maker for solar panels in the world. They bought the vast majority of their operations from DuPont. Yes, it is a Chinese company, and yes, they know exactly what they're doing. I don't know if they meant to tell people how much silver is being used in TopCon, but they did. And the Silver Institute is either too dumb or too crooked to figure that out. I talked to the Silver Institute, I talked to Metals Focus, both the head guys there, and both of them know exactly what's going on. Probably Metals Focus more than the Silver Institute. Silver Institute is, it's basically two guys. One guy who runs the show, he's an odd dude, and one guy who's the president of Hecla Mining, who days before the silver survey came out, the annual silver survey from the Silver Institute, said there's going to be 300 million ounces in solar usage for last year, and then the Silver Institute publishes a paper that says, oh, no, it's 193 million ounces. I mean, where... So I think the Silver Institute and Metals Focus kind of fucked their own guy. And he's the chairman of the board of the Silver Institute. I mean, those are two conflicting remarks. Or one's a publication and one's a obvious remark about the state of the solar panel silver usage industry. So TopCon will do over 300 million ounces. It has already been proven and admitted to by the people who make the paste that goes into the solar panels. They're the ones in charge of all the thrifting too, by the way. So I think they kind of admitted it by accident. That there's 20 milligrams per watt in TopCon. And TopCon's going to take up 66 to 70% of all the solar installed. This is not rocket science, my friends. And people go, Bix, how'd you figure all this out? I took basic math in high school. That's how easy it is to figure out. If we know how many solar panels are going in and we know how many ounces of silver per watt's going into the solar panels, we have a pretty damn good idea of how much going into solar. And then Metals Focus and the Silver Institute will say, well, we have inside people on the ground. Well, your inside people, the number one inside entity on the ground is Solumet, because they make most of the silver paste and do most of the technological changes for thrifting when it comes to the solar paste. And they said, well, we're so awesome. We got the amount of silver used from 140 milligrams for a 182 millimeter panel down from 140 to 80, and that calculates to 20 milligrams per watt. 20 milligrams per watt, whereas the Silver Institute came up with half of that. I know. Pain in the ass and embarrassing. Interesting that 1 year ago, well, almost a year ago, in December, all that silver that went into China in October of last year, that was huge. I think it was 60 million ounces, bigger than what happened just last month. All of that came from China for the most part, and some from the UAE, but it was all in the bar form and in the grain form. So this is why it changes every month. Just tells you one thing: these aren't buyers buying from certain, thousands of buyers buying from importers and exporters and all that. No, this is a very specific and controlled operation. Okay, this month we're going to buy only grain. This month we're going to buy only grain from China. This month we're going to buy only grain from Mexico. This month we're going to buy only grain from the UAE. This is not random free market stuff. I hope everybody knows that. Speaking of free market, we only have 5 days left. Count them, 5 days until 3.4 billion people will have the opportunity to download the Theta Edge node on their mobile device. That's obviously oversimplified, but in 5 days, that is what... Remember, Theta is a software. It is a download of a software that gives your device the ability to share its hard drive, to share its computing power, and to share its broadband. Amazing, amazing software revelation. And it's being downloaded, or can be downloaded, on 3.4 billion Android devices. And oh, by the way, the people that make those devices, like Samsung, are partners with Theta. So what's going to happen one day when you have your latest Android phone update, and voila, that update include from Samsung, an operating system update, we get them all the time, and that update includes a Theta Edge node, mobile edge node that can run on your phone, and you can earn Tfuel just by sharing your data as you're going around. This is literally going to allow the Internet of Things to happen, allow AI to happen. It is the biggest thing, and it's like being in NVIDIA in the early days when it's just starting up. And by the way, this is so much bigger than NVIDIA because it can take all those NVIDIA graphic processors, lump them all together, and use them as a group. It's crazy, I know. And nobody knows about it for the most part in the crypto world. Crypto people, they chase the shiny object. Theta has never been a shiny object. It's a real deal. And when Theta starts to run, it runs like a madman. I remember it running from 4 cents to $15. And it's now at $1.38. It's going to go $1.38 to what, 30? In a matter of, literally, it takes off like that. The Theta versus Theta fuel ratio, I think, is off. It's at 21 to 1, kind of like silver. I think the Theta fuel ratio should be closer to basically what's above ground. 6 billion, what is it? 6.7 to 1. Not 21 or 22 to 1, which it is right now. So that's my take. Because everybody's going to need Theta fuel to run these operations. And everybody will have a little bit of Theta fuel because they'll be earning it on their mobile device or on their flat screen TV. That's the future, my friends. Silver's for the now, Theta's for the future, in my opinion. All right, that's what I got for you today. Lots going on. Private road members, I'll be talking to you a lot this weekend. We could have some bank failures. Don't know. It is a Friday, and they kind of passed by a 3-day weekend. I don't see any 3-day weekends coming up real soon. We're at near the end of the year. Something's got to happen before the election, so hang on tight. If you want to join the private road and get access to all the inside information, go to roadtoroota.com. Click on subscribe today. And it's $2.99 for a year, less than $1 a day. But we give you a paper wallet, a paper crypto wallet filled with the Theta family of tokens. 10 Theta, 100 Tfuel, and 1,000 T-drop. You take this and you stick it in your safe. And you wait. We've been doing this for a long time. Obviously, the Bitcoin people, when we were giving away 0.1 Bitcoin, are real happy. That's it, like $6,200 for, I think the subscription way back then was $199. That's a good payback. I think Theta Fuel will blow that away, though. Just my personal opinion. Again, go to roadtoroota.com. Click on subscribe today.